The arena of Kavar Citadel roared with thunderous alien voices. Thousands of spectators filled the stone stands, chanting the same name over and over. Rathara! 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 And then she stepped into the light, the alien princess, the beast princess, the one no male dared approach. Princess Rathara, towering, muscular, and terrifying to her own species. 8 feet tall, shoulders broader than most warriors, eyes glowing a predatory amber, fangs from her lower jaw, claws that could slice metal. To her people, she was too big, too strong, too feral. No suitor ever approached her throne. Every male cowered. Every council member whispered, "Who will marry the monster princess?" But Rathara wasn't a monster. She was lonely. Very lonely. Tonight, she fought in the arena not because she enjoyed it, but because fighting was the only place she felt alive. The only place she felt she mattered. Her armor glowed under the torches. She held a massive stone hammer that only she could lift. The announcer shouted, "Princess Rathara, champion of the Citadel, unmatched and unwanted." The crowd cheered wildly. Rathara bowed her head, slightly. Unmatched, unwanted. That was always her life. She breathed deeply, preparing for another meaningless battle. But as she turned toward the stands, she froze, standing among thousands of aliens, unafraid, calm. Smiling was a human male. He looked small compared to her people, but something about him stood out. No fear, no disgust, just a warm, genuine smile. Rathara's heart skipped. Her grip tightened on her hammer. Why was a human here? Why was he smiling at her, the monster princess? She looked away quickly, flustered for the first time in years. Her opponent entered the arena, a massive reptilian beast. The fight began with roaring tension, dust rising, claws slashing. Rathara fought fiercely, delivering heavy blows, her muscles burning, her breath shaking the air. The crowd screamed her name again, but all she could think about was that strange human smile. The hook 3-4 minutes of suspense after the fight. Rathara returned to the palace training yard. Her heart still beat strangely fast. She didn't know why. She tried to focus on her breathing, but her mind kept replaying that smile. Her advisor, an older alien named Kruk, approached her. "Your Highness, you crushed the beast today." The crowd loved it. She nodded absent-mindedly. "Yes. Thank you." Kruk frowned. "You don't seem happy." She hesitated. "There was a human today, in the arena." Kruk rolled his eyes. "Humans wander everywhere these days." "No," she whispered. "He smiled at me." Kruk blinked. "At you, without fear?" Rathara nodded. Kruk rubbed his chin. "That's unusual. Humans are small, but they have courage." A faint blush rose on Rathara's cheeks. It felt nice. Before Kruk could respond, a palace guard rushed in. "Princess, there is someone at the gate asking for you." Rathara's brows furrowed. "A warrior? A council member?" The guard hesitated. "No, princess. A human." Her heart thundered. Kruk whispered, "It must be the one from the arena." Rathara didn't know whether to panic or roar. She followed the guard to the great gates. When they opened, there he was, the human from the arena. Wearing simple explorer clothes, a backpack slung over his shoulder, and the same warm smile on his face. He raised a hand awkwardly. Hi." Rathara froze. No male ever approached her, especially not a human. She towered over him like a mountain, her shadow swallowing him completely. She felt huge, awkward, monstrous. She tried to speak, but her voice got stuck in her throat. The human stepped closer, fearless. "My name is Evan." She couldn't stop staring. Evan smiled gently. "I watched your fight today. You were incredible." Rathara blinked. Incredible? Yes, Evan said. Strong, beautiful, powerful, amazing to watch. Her heart nearly stopped. Beautiful? No one had called her that. Not once in her life. Rathara stuttered. I am too big. Too feral. No male dares. I'm not no male, Evan said calmly. I'm me. Rathara felt her cheeks heat. Her chest tightened. Evan continued. I wanted to see you. To talk to you. Rathara whispered. Why? Evan looked into her glowing eyes with steady confidence. Because you looked lonely. The princess sucked in a sharp breath. Lonely. The one word that described her perfectly. She turned her face away. Humans cannot approach the royal princes. It is forbidden. Evan shrugged. Rules are just walls. Walls can be climbed. Rathara's jaw dropped. Her advisor Kruk choked on air. Evan stepped forward again, completely calm in front of the massive alien warrior. I didn't come here to impress you or fear you. I came because I think you deserve someone who doesn't run away. Rathara's heart shook violently. She stepped back, overwhelmed. I break things. I break everything I touch. Evan smiled softly. Then touch me gently. Rathara's entire soul malfunctioned. The princess's first soft moment, the princess led Evan into the palace gardens. Massive crystal trees glowed softly, bathing them in blue light. She kept at least 3 steps away from him. Afraid of crushing him, Evan walked beside her without fear. Finally, she whispered, Why are you not scared of me? Evan looked up at her with sincerity. Because strength is not scary. Cruelty is. And you are not cruel. Rathara looked down. But I am big. Too big. Evan chuckled. And I'm too small. Perfect match? She stared at him, speechless. No one had ever spoken to her like this. No one had ever smiled at her without fear. She whispered, You smiled at me. Evan nodded. I'll smile again, if it helps. Rathara's heartbeat thumped so loudly she thought he might hear it. Evan. She asked softly. Why me? His eyes softened. Because you deserve to be seen, not feared. Her eyes burned with emotion. She turned away quickly, wiping a tear before he could see, but he saw. Evan stepped closer, lifting his hand hesitantly. Is it okay if I? She nodded slowly. Evan placed his hand on her massive arm, soft, careful, respectful. Her body trembled. She had crushed metal beasts with that arm. But she had never felt such gentle human warmth. The moment the Empire saw Asham suddenly, alarms blared through the palace. Guards rushed in. Princess! A human has breached the private gardens. Rathara roared, Stop! Everyone froze. The guards stiffened. Evan stood still. Rathara stepped protectively in front of Evan, towering over him like an unbreakable shield. Her voice thundered. He is under my protection. Gasps spread. Whispers erupted. Her advisor Kruk almost fainted. Rathara lifted her chin proudly. No male of our species dared approach me, she declared. But he did, and I welcome him. Evan looked up at her in awe. The guards bowed at once. As you command, princess. When the guards left, Rathara turned to Evan with a shy, embarrassed expression. I hope that wasn't too frightening. Evan smiled the softest smile she had ever seen. You defended me. Rathara's heart melted. I will always defend you, she whispered without thinking. Evan stepped closer, so close he could reach her hand. He gently placed his smaller hand on her enormous, clawed one. It felt like a spark. Rathara swallowed hard. Evan, what are you doing? Being close to you, he said. If you want that. The fear in her eyes softened into something new, something warm, something hopeful. The final moment as the sky above the gardens shimmered with bioluminescent stars. Evan and Rathara stood together. No fear. No shame. No distance. Just a human who dared to smile. and a princess who finally felt seen. Rathara whispered, "Evan, may I hold your hand properly?" Evan smiled. "I'd like that." She carefully wrapped her massive fingers around his tiny ones, gentle enough not to hurt him. Perfect fit. The first male who didn't run. The first smile she trusted. The first moment she didn't feel like a monster. Evan looked up at her. "Rathara, you're not too big. You're just right." Her glowing eyes softened with tears. And the massive princess whispered, "Only you make me feel that way." Small human. And that was the beginning of a story the galaxy would never forget.